Hey, this is Goff, and in this training video, I'm going to teach you how to search for wholesale properties. And we're going to start with, how do you decide which area, which price point of neighborhoods do you even start with? All coming up right now. You're going to see this top section where it says area statistics. Now, I know if I were to go, well, if I go in and I say, okay, I want Cypress, Texas, as an example, I can then click on that and it will tell me what's going on in Cypress. Here, the median price is 403. Generally, when you're wholesaling, especially where you live, you're probably going to be under that number. And the reason is that that's where it's more likely that you would see a distressed situation of a home being vacant from your vehicle. You could go into $1 million neighborhood and find a vacant property, but it's like a needle in the haystack. It's not so obvious to see that property from your vehicle. I always like to start, where's that middle price point and below? And those neighborhoods are really where we want to go. Now, if I go in and we'll take Spring, Texas. So that middle price, 408. So it's kind of similar because you have nice homes in Spring, but then you have less expensive, and you got to figure out where those neighborhoods are, right? We'll take Spring as the example, and then you can apply this logic to anywhere. If you were to go to Tomball or wherever, if you go to REIPro and we go to Spring, and let's just choose vacant for a second. The way to, you remember 400,000, we'll say, is that median price. And like I said, when wholesaling, when I'm driving, I really want to be below that. So I'm going to go to the estimated value, and I'm going to go to the maximum 400. And then I'm going to hit apply. My goal here is to just figure out where the majority of homes valued under that median price, which is 400. Now, they'll be scattered, so keep that in mind. But you're going to see like clumps of these properties in specific areas. So you can see where they're kind of clumped on this more of this south side of Spring. These would be the homes I would want, or the neighborhoods I would want to go to. I could then even go a little bit lower. Let's just say 300,000 is the max. And now you're going to start to see these kind of pockets, right? But those are going to be the areas that there's a big pocket over here. Those are going to be the areas that I would want to drive, because that's where you're going to find more of those distress situations and be able to visually see it from the car. Our vacant list comes from the post office every 30 days. All of the other list types, we update it daily. The post office is the only company in the US that deems a property vacant. And what they say is, if nobody picks up mail for about 90 days, they deem the property vacant and they stop delivering mail there. When you're driving, you're going to find vacant properties that maybe there was a tenant that was in it and now they're not, and the house is vacant, but it hasn't been vacant 90 days for the post office to say it's vacant. So you'll be able to pick up some other properties in that process. Now, will you find properties that are on our list? Probably. But you're also looking for those properties that aren't on this list. And the only way to do that is to actually drive the neighborhood. Apply that logic of, okay, what's the median price? And then I want to be below that. And then use REIPro as a way to kind of pinpoint where those priced homes are around you. Now, I can click this search by map, and it will go outside the boundary lines of Spring. And as you move as you move the map, it'll auto-populate every property that I have set under 300,000. I think when we, talk about wholesaling, we really need, number one, be in the right neighborhoods. And being in the right neighborhoods is simply just taking that medium price range and being in the neighborhoods that's below that. You're going to go up to where it says find it here, that top search box, and just start typing it in up here. Once I see it in the drop down, just click on it. That's going to pull up some information. The big one you're looking at is what we call owner occupied. If you drive by the house and it looked vacant, but you added the address here and Harris County says that they live there, it'll say owner occupied, yes, no, or unknown. If it says it's owner occupied with a yes, it simply means that the county is stating that the owner lives there. So maybe it wasn't vacant, right? Because some houses look vacant, but they're not vacant. So if we know this property is vacant, and I'm going to look at really the owner occupied status here. Okay. If that says no, that means they live somewhere else. So generally the tax bill, if I go to this tab here that says tax info, you're going to see what that mailing address is. So I see that the mailing address is different than the property address. So I know that they at least don't live there. Now, could they have tenants that just destroyed the house and it looks vacant? Maybe, sure. But hey, if the tenants aren't taking care of the house, the owner might want to sell it. Maybe they're tired of tenants, toilets, headaches, late fees, all that stuff. So that still could be a potential. When I see potential in this, if you go to the bottom of this box, you can either add it to a marketing campaign or save it to your properties. I want you to add these properties to a marketing campaign. I'm going to do this for you so you can see. So when I click on add to marketing campaign, the name of this campaign is whatever you want it to be. This is just for you. I could say spring. Oh, I wasn't even in there. I could say spring vacant as an example. I then will add this property to a new campaign called that. Once I'm done with that, I go in and I look up the next address and I go through this process. Our main goal is to find potential vacant properties where the owner doesn't live there. In some cases, the county is going to say they live there, but that that they don't because you physically had your eyes on it and it's vacant. If the county says they do live there, but you say nobody lives there, I want you to add that to the marketing campaign because that's definitely a potential. I'm going to keep doing this. Now, you're going to see that if I go to my marketing tab in the main menu, you're going to see this campaign, Spring Vacant. This is where, okay, we've driven the neighborhoods. We've looked up the property. We've determined, is this a property we want to move forward with, or maybe it wasn't vacant and we just move on to the next one. Once we put all those properties into a campaign, we have a couple of choices. Number one, we have to get a hold of somebody. We can do that by sending a postcard. We can mail a letter, or we could do a skip trace, pull up their phone number and give them a call. And if you do that, you could obviously just follow the scripts, and you're going to go to phone script and you're going to go over to the left-hand side where it says vacant. And you're literally going to say what's in that gray box when they answer the phone. And I want you to just come across as you're just the normal person just looking to buy a few properties in the area. I don't want you to come across as some big company. Why are you calling me? Things of that nature. If people say, how did you get my phone number? Just say, hey, I was just looking up the property. It was just public record. Thought I'd give you a call just to see if you might be interested. I'm actually looking to buy some property. So I want to kind of move on instead of elaborating where did I get the phone number? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's either they want to You know, a lot of people, they weren't even thinking about selling it until you sent them a marketing piece or you called them. You know, they're like, yeah, you know, maybe I do need to sell that property. Obviously, if they tell you, no, I don't want to sell it, don't call me again, then we'll move on to the next one. There's more out there. We don't need everybody to say yes. You know, when I got started, I was like, I wasn't worried about people saying no. I was worried about when they said yes. It's like, oh, what do I do now? You know, so